Welcome to Screen to Speed, powered by Init Esports. In this podcast, we dive into the journeys of remarkable individuals making waves in sim racing and bridging the virtual with the real. From the thrill of digital circuits to the roar of real life racetracks, we explore the passion, dedication, and innovation that drives the world of motorsports. We'll hear from athletes, creators, and pioneers sharing their stories, insights, and the powerful ways sim racing is connecting communities and creating pathways into motorsports. So buckle up, Screen to Speed starts now.
Hello everyone, welcome to Init Talks. Happy to see everybody here on the channel. Today we got Emma Galasso with us. She's a brand partnership coordinator in the automotive industry and also sim racer. And she took a part in the last Screen to Speed event, which we had this weekend. And also she's going to share Init Talks in 2025 with me. Welcome, Emma.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so exciting to be here, and I can't wait to embark in 2025 and do it some more. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for taking your time and have this show with us. So let's start with how did you first get into sim racing and what actually inspired you to start?
Yeah, so my journey started a little later than a lot of people in sim racing. I was 26, so I'm dating myself here, but I was 26 and I really wanted to learn more about motorsport in a way that was not just watching it on TV, because I love watching Formula One and I watched racing since I was a kid, but I didn't understand it. And for me, the best way to understand it is to actually do it. But, I don't have $500,000 lying around to go buy a Porsche 911 to go take around the track. So I got into sim racing instead. I started on my PlayStation actually on F1 2021 and had a grand old time on that. And then my brother is really good at building PCs, so I got his help to build a PC, and then I made the transition over to Assetto Corsa. Have a really amazing league there, and that league helped me really get into sim racing because it was fun to hot lap by myself, but having a league really pushes you to be faster and better and actually race other people. So since then, I've been racing on Assetto Corsa and then recently making the switch toward iRacing to do more events like this and just joining new communities. I also am on TikTok talking about my racing journey. So if you ever want to really scroll back in the archives, you can see me being really proud of some really slow laps, but it's all about documenting the journey. So yeah,
That's great. Yeah, so that's cool that you started from console. So many people, starting from really basic entry level things like console and really simple sim racing wheel. How's your sim racing setup looks like right now? So how it's involved over the years?
So right now, I would say I still have. I mean, it's definitely a pretty good setup. I have a Fanatec wheel. I have a DD Pro wheel with the boost kit. So I have 8 Newton meters of force, all that. I have a load cell pedal. But I don't have an actual aluminum rig or anything. I'm still in a play seat challenge with my direct drive wheel. So we were talking before this call, I just lugged my whole rig in the back of my car, 600 miles to come to my parents' house, which is where I'm at now. And the play seat is really great because I just literally fold it up, put it in the back of my car and drive it up here. And I have only one monitor. It's not even a big, huge monitor. I used to just play with my TV. That used to be my TV for everything. But for sim racing, the lag time on that was pretty crazy. So switching to a monitor was helpful. My next kind of upgrade will be probably better pedals, a triples monitors, hopefully, and then actually getting an aluminum rig. But I started on a Logitech G29 with my probably the worst possible Amazon buy of a wheelbase thing that I could possibly have gotten. And just because my thing was, I didn't even know if I was going to like sim racing. I was doing it as a challenge for myself, but I didn't want to, spend a ton of money on a rig that I wasn't going to use. And I figured, I knew people that were really fast on a Logitech G29. And I said, well, I'm either going to learn to be fast in a G29 or I'm going to, not like it. So thankfully I ended up liking it.
Oh, that's good. You know, when you can try something and start just with entry level equipment, because you're not spending a lot of money, and at the same time you give it a try, and also think if you would like to continue or not. Really funny thing that I started with G27 back in the days also. Right now with Freshmaster DD T818 and load cell pedals, and then got triple screen. So I started with single screen as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. You know, I met a lot of people on Init Talks, and most of the people started like from really basic, like G27, G29. It's really funny.
Mhm.
Can you tell me what challenges you face as a new sim racer in Assetto Corsa?
Yeah, I think that my biggest challenge has just been mentally, honestly, because sim racing I wanted to do as a challenge. And I equate it to learning a language. That's what I always tell people. I think I said that on the last time I was on Init Talks, but it's you have to learn so much. There's so much going on in your brain while you're driving. You're doing math you're not even thinking about, you're finding the apex of the corner, you're looking ahead. You have to remember all these things while you're driving. And coming from nothing, no racing experience except for a couple laps in Gran Turismo with my dad on controller, like I had no idea what racing was going to be like at all. So it was learning all of that. And then also in my league, learning racecraft and how to get out of the way of everybody because I was always in the very back. And, honestly, being used to being last because in my league, I was 100% of the time like the slowest person. Didn't always mean I took last place because I always say like you have to just finish the race because some people DNF and you get ahead of them and that's a learning experience. But I'm someone who likes to succeed in things as soon as I start them, and sim racing was definitely not that way. And I wouldn't even call myself successful now. I'm still very much in the learning process, and that's what's so cool about it is you don't really feel like you're improving, and you go back and look at a lap you did that you were so proud of before, and like there was a lap at Spa, for example, in Assetto Corsa Competizione. I don't even remember what the time was, but it was so bad, and I worked so hard to get that time. And then I came back a couple of months ago and just did a lap just to see what it was like, and my warm-up lap was almost 4 seconds faster than that lap. So you improve a lot, but you don't feel like it, which is really cool.
That's nice. Also, how was your routine of the practice through the years? Yeah, because you mentioned that you started, like you finished last most of the races, and that went not as you expected. I think kind of the same thing happened to me when I moved from in real life racing to sim racing. I felt that I'm going to pulling away from everybody, but then you just meet all these people in sim racing, and they're too competitive and they super cool and really consistent on the track. So I had to like step back and learn all things once again. So how was it for you? Like what is your routine of the practice for this year's?
Yeah, so I started out, my goal was to learn as quickly as possible to be as good as I could be as fast as possible. And for me, that was finding a coach. So I have been coached by Isaac Gilson, who is a Ferrari esports driver actually now. At the time he wasn't, but he's been my coach since pretty much day one. I drive with him almost every single Sunday. We have an hour, and I'll think I'm doing really good, and then he'll just come in and be like, you gotta like adjust your braking here or something, which is what I needed because if it was just up to me thinking my laps were really good, I would have thought that I was the best sim racer out there and joined a league and get absolutely stomped. Like, and my league is also extremely fast. The people in my league are pretty top tier drivers, and they're also wonderful people. So I purposely joined a league that was rookie friendly, but was way faster than me. I had
Mm-hmm.
to work really hard just to be 6 seconds behind the next slowest guy, and that was a good challenge for me. So I practiced at least 30 minutes every day, and I still try to hold to that. I work a full-time job and have events to go to and stuff like that, but I always try to get my practice time in. And now I can practice a lot longer because I've done like endurance races and stuff like that, but seat time is the most important. But also getting seat time with a fresh brain, because if you're in there and you're just forcing yourself to drive 5 hours in a row, that doesn't work for me that well. And then I also try to learn outside of actually driving. So you have to learn about setups and learn about all these things, which comes through talking with people, attending real races, or taking courses online and stuff like that. So I've been doing that as well. Yeah, and it's been a challenge, but it's a good challenge. It's fun to learn new stuff and see. And honestly, the community is what's so great about sim racing, because I can bring a problem to somebody in my league and they can solve it immediately, where it would take me 2 days to figure it out, just because you have the experience. And that's what's so cool. I can connect with people all over the world just through this.
Yeah, that's really cool stuff. That community really friendly, they helpful, and I can tell about our racing community, because most of the time I'm racing and as I told you, the Assetto Corsa seems like also really friendly. And you mentioned that you're doing the league, and I know that you're doing it every Monday. Can you give more details about the league, because maybe some people are going to be interested to jump into this league?
Yeah, so my league is called SBR. It's Shake and Bake Racing. They've been around. This is actually their I say R like it's my league. It's not my league, but it's the 5-year anniversary of SBR this upcoming season, or 2025. And we do races every Monday night, and all different tracks, all different cars. We have a different theme every season. So that's been great for me, because I've gotten to drive a ton of different cars. Everything from club cars to Indy Lights to GT3s. So you have to learn a lot, and I only had a week to practice for every track, stuff like that. So it's been a great community for me, and all the guys there are really awesome. So huge shout out to them. And actually, I was able to meet a lot of them in real life, because we're all based in the US, most of us, sorry, to the Canadians and our Australian friends, but most of us are in the US, so we meet up at real races and just get to talk about motorsport outside of racing. So it's a really great community to be a part of. Yeah, and honestly, I don't even have time for another league, really, because I even my league right now, I've been kind of falling off the cliff there, because I've been so busy with work, but they're just all great guys, and I love racing with them.
That's great that you got this really friendly and nice league. And also you mentioned that some people are competitive. I think it's really help you to improve day by day, because when you know, racing the league where you first, you don't have motivation to go forward and to improve your lap times. And it's really cool to find the league where you always got a space for improvements. It's really cool. Can you tell me about highlights in your sim racing career so far?
Well, I will say one of my favorite things doesn't actually have to do with racing, but my league has a livery contest every single season. And I think I'm an 8-time livery contest winner. So that's where all my wins come from, is the liveries. Because for me, I love drawing. So doing, just coming up with new themes every season. And we just had Yu-Gi-Oh! Themed liveries for our IMSA season recently. And that's been a really fun aspect for me in terms of actual racing highlights. It's hard to say, just because for me there hasn't been like a bunch of wins, because like I said, my league is super fast. So if I ever were to beat them, it would probably just be the highlight of my career. But I did the Ferrari Esports Series this past year, and I totally did not think I was going to qualify, period, to the next round, but I made it through to the next round hot laps. I didn't know that I made it until like a week before the race, so I didn't have a lot of time to prep. So that would be my excuse, but I still made it to P7. I think P7 in both of the qualifying races for that. So that was a big moment for me. But honestly, esports has really gotten me a lot of contacts in motorsports in real life. I've been able to meet a bunch of amazing people. I went to the Ferrari Challenge race at Road Atlanta a couple years ago, and I was able to talk shop with people, and it really has been helpful in just building my professional career as well, just through this racing and being around people who are talking about it, and having my own quote unquote experience behind the wheel, which does translate, because I was lucky enough to track a few cars a couple weeks ago, and I just got to floor it in a Porsche 911 around track, and it was easier to do that when you have some racing experience. So it does translate.
That's awesome. Can you tell me what cars did you drive and what track?
Yeah, so we were at Apex Motor Club in Arizona. So it's a private club. And I got to drive the Taycan Turbo GT, the Porsche 911 Carrera, the 911 GTS, and the 911 Turbo S. and we just got to do like we were all on the line driving our own cars with an instructor out front. So I think you just heard my doorbell. But there was so we were just lead and follow with an instructor, and they were driving a 718 in front of us, so a little bit slower. But they were explaining the track to us through one-way radios in the car. So I would just give myself a little space with the person in front of me, and then just kind of floor it down the track. And there's nothing quite like taking a 911 and just absolutely pedal to the metal, flooring it on a track. And I got the chance to do that, which was absolutely amazing. And also the Taycan Turbo GT is all electric, so that was a completely different kind of quote unquote sports car drive. And that is an amazing car. And so that was a treat to drive. And of course, I have to say the 911 was my favorite, just because the braking is actually what made a difference for me. And when you do sim driving, you have to like pretty much stomp on the brakes in faster cars and stuff like that. So it wasn't scary for me to hit ABS really hard and whatever. Because I did do that once, but you just know what to expect. So it's really helpful to have the sim racing background.
Yeah, definitely. Sim racing experience can help you to improve in the real life. So also practice a lot race room with Sepang, because I raced at that time Formula 4 in Malaysia, and that really helped me to fix some mistakes. As you said, it's really cool to have a sim racing experience as a background. And speaking about 911, that's one of my favorite car in the world, and it's really cool. So I drove it on the real track also, and I really like to drive it in iRacing. Driving the Porsche Cup 992. Absolutely amazing car, one of the best in the world, really.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun car. Just getting in and starting the engine is pretty amazing. So I'm lucky enough that I got the chance to do that, and I get some work perks that let me drive those cars a lot. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, indeed. You also mentioned that you work in right now in automotive industry, yes, and you like really close to sim racing, and sim racing actually help you to reach some people in real life as well. Can you tell me more about your professional journey outside of the sim racing?
Yeah, so my professional journey is pretty interesting. I went to business school for college because I really wanted to get into the film industry. And people said, well, don't go to college for film, go to college for business, because film is a business. And that's probably the best advice that I got. So I did that. And then I immediately joined the film industry. So I worked for Marvel, Disney, Netflix, all those, working on a bunch of movies. And then ultimately went to work in stunts. So I handled the entire stunt team for several films and TV shows. And then there was some big strikes the past 2 years ago, I think it was now. And the film industry has kind of collapsed, to be quite honest. So I decided that I wanted to pivot and see if I could try my hand at getting into motorsports and automotive, because I have such a passion for it and I wanted to learn more. And there's nothing that makes you learn more than having to do it as your job. So I was lucky enough to, I mean, honestly, in film and in automotive, I had no contacts really. I just kind of cold called and cold contacted my way. I literally went to races. Like the Ferrari Challenge, for example. I went to the race and I was standing there, and they had a Pura Sangue there just on display. It was one of the first ones to come to America. And I was like, oh my gosh, this has the V12. Can I see it? And the guy was like, what are you talking about? Like, how do you know about the V12? And then we started talking, and he brought me over to all the other cars that they had. And then I got to meet the president of Ferrari North America, who was just happened to be walking by and just saying hi to people and talking. And then I actually went to, for example, the Porsche Experience Center in Atlanta, Georgia had an esports competition kind of thing a couple years ago, where you could just show up there, set a lap, and see if you were the top qualifier, you could go to the next Rennsport. And so I went to try my hand at it. I wasn't very good at sim racing at the time, but I met one of the guys from my league there who I'd never met in person, found out he's like a real life driving coach, and he's an amazing sim racer as well. And got to talk to him, got to talk to a bunch of people at Porsche, and then, just finding things to go to where car people are at that are actually involved in motorsport. Cars and coffee is really fun. We have those too. I go to those sometimes, but going to events where it's more people are there to work at races. So like going to IMSA races, for example, if you have the opportunity and you're in the US to go to an IMSA race, you get complete pit lane access, everything, just as a regular attendee. So it's not like Formula One where you're really limited. I've met so many people just walking through there, saying hi, putting something out about the cars, just being nice, always be nice to people and don't ask for things. Just talking with people. And it really helped me get a leg up into the industry. And also, honestly, sim racing, just meeting people and talking to people through sim racing has gotten me a lot of connections, including this one through Init Esports. It was just, I actually found Steffi through LinkedIn, through somebody else that I was connected with. And I saw this post about, I think it was the Fall Cup. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And then ended up finding it at Esports through that. So just being open to connecting with everyone and talking with everyone can really help. And I would say that for any industry, but I've been lucky enough that it's worked for me twice in two different industries. So there's got to be something there.
That's really nice that you're going with the flow of the life, yeah, and just connect people casually during visiting the events and everything. So I think that viewers can definitely use this in their lives. For me, I also found a lot of people as I'm streaming on Twitch, I'm streaming iRacing, and really just a lot of people come here and, met Tony Kanan. I met a lot of other racing drivers like Daniel Murad. And yeah, that's pretty awesome that we got this opportunity, and really some racing open a lot of doors for yourself, and it's nice. Can you tell me that about... do you have any like specific tracks and cars, like your best combo and the combo which you like and dislike also?
I have to say that I don't, partially because my league, we race so many different tracks. I'm always trying to learn a new track, which I enjoy because I don't really want to get, kind of stuck. I mean, I gotta think. I don't know if I have a favorite. I really, there's so many things I like about different tracks, and so many, for me, I think about the memories on different tracks like Watkins, for example. I think I talked about this in my last Init Talk, but we had some amazing GT4 races at Watkins in my league, and so Watkins is fun to me because of that. We also have like a running meme in my league about Watkins because all of us love it so much. Tracks I hate, oh, I don't know. I think there's just certain parts of tracks that I hate. Like I'm thinking, I love Monza as a track. I've actually been there in real life, and it's such a cool place to go to. But basically, second, third sector of Monza is not my friend at all. But I still love the track. So I can do really terrible at a track and still have fun there. And that's what's so cool is like to me, it's like every corner is a different problem to solve, and you got to solve them all at the same time. So there's a lot of learning to be had, and I would say thankfully I don't have a track that I completely hate, though I'm sure if you went back in my like Discord chat history on my league, you'd see me hating a lot of tracks. It's not, I can't think of one off the top of my head, so I guess it can't be too bad.
Yeah, all the time I notice that, the most hated track which you got in your list, that's actually the track which you just can nail and you can race it properly, and you just dislike it. Like, I hate this track, it's so horrible, or something like this. That happened with Sebring for me. That's really funny. So when I started to learn it, I was like, wow, it's so complicated track to learn. I really dislike the flow of the track and everything. But when I learned it and I started to hit a really good pace on this track, I started to like, yes, I like Sebring. Okay.
That was really I do have to say, Paul Ricard is not a track that I enjoy. I forgot about that one, but I did that one in ACC, and I hated it. I don't even think I got very good at it because I just think it was like one of the tracks I had to do and beat a certain time to get into LFM or something. And then the track changed before I qualified for it. So I was like, thank you, I can do something else now.
Yeah, like many people call the Polar cards as a big parking lot or something like this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and Sebring, we just did Sebring. I was actually at the Sebring race this year. I was at Sebring in the DPI for my league, and it's awfully bumpy. I didn't do particularly well at Sebring, but it was, whatever. I still like it.
Well, Sebring is challenging track because it's actually flat, but some bumps make your life really hard.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, you mentioned that you've been in Monza. I guess that there was some kind of racing event, and I would like to know, can you compare the motorsport in Europe and in United States, and what's different between them, and what do you like the most, like in United States with in racing, and what do you like the most in European motorsport?
Yeah, so I was actually at Monza. There wasn't a race going on. I just have friends that live right by it. So I was like, well, I think we should go visit. So I was able to go visit when nobody was there, which was cool because they have the old banking and stuff like that. I would say, even though I haven't been to a motorsport event in Europe yet, I have a bunch of friends who have been to mini races in Europe, including American friends who went. And I guess I got to experience it a lot through one of my friends went to the Austrian GP in 2021. So this was like way back in kind of one of the first races back from COVID. And it's just, first of all, in Europe, racing is so much more common, I guess. Like everyone, like I was just in Italy 2 years ago and they had Mika Häkkinen on a cardboard cutout in front of a tire place. In America, nobody would know who that was. You could put Michael Schumacher outside of a gas station in America and probably no one would know who Michael Schumacher is. And it's just something that, you know, we have our NASCAR drivers and stuff like that you might know their name. I'm sure a lot more people would know a NASCAR driver than like Formula One. But like even karting, for example, I was just speaking with a couple of people from Europe who were here for the Las Vegas GP, which I attended, and they were talking about how there's karting tracks all over in Europe, and they don't take that long to get to. The closest karting track to me is an hour and a half of a drive away. And there's just not really a place to access it. So when we go to races for Formula One, for example, it's way more expensive in the US. And a lot of people, they're going because it's Formula One, not necessarily for the racing. I would say since Drive to Survive is a lot more crowded, but there's just kind of a different ambiance because in Europe, you can still go to a race for not that expensive, but in the US, everyone who's there is paying probably $500 at least just to get like a general admission ticket there. So there's a lot of differences, but I think that racing, like IMSA racing, for example, has definitely changed in the 2 or 3 years that I've been going. It's become way more popular and way more fun, honestly, but also a lot more crowded. It used to just be the diehard fans that were there. My first year at the Daytona 24, we were on the grid, walking around, whatever. My friends who'd been there before said this is the most packed it's ever been, and I was like, whatever. The next year, it was 25% more crowded than it was when I was there. So it's becoming more popular and it's becoming more of a thing. But yeah, I would just say that in Europe, it's more accessible and it's more like more people have been around it for a while. Whereas in the US, that's not necessarily the case unless you're at NASCAR and maybe IndyCar.
Yeah, I think that NASCAR is so popular, and also in United States, you got a lot of dirt ovals. It's really popular because like everybody can buy the street stock. It's so cheap to buy, and you just can jump into races, and it's really cool opportunity because I think in Europe, overall, even karting, like in Italy, it's so expensive, and it's not open really for everybody. And this is the fact which I like about United States and their racing, because they got really nice racing series where you can just have fun and have your own car and race like some weekends. Yeah, and that's really cool opportunity which we don't have in Europe. If we're talking about formulas, so I've been into formulas in real life, and it's really expensive. Like the whole season in Spain, Formula 3 costs like 300,000 euros plus, something like this. So that was a price for 2015 when I raced in Formula Masters. So yeah, but overall, I think that even if we're talking about road racing, I think in Europe more races in that category. Yeah, definitely. If we're talking about ovals are great in the United States.
Yeah, I would agree. To be fair, I'm not very involved in the ovals of the US, even though I'm kind of surrounded by NASCAR. But yeah, it's kind of amazing to kind of, I came into it backwards, kind of. I was into road racing and Formula One, and then kind of became aware. I've always been aware of NASCAR, but I came into the NASCAR fandom, I would say. Um, and since then, it's kind of, it's pretty funny actually to see the differences between NASCAR fans and Formula One fans, and just how, honestly, how NASCAR as an organization handles things versus like the FIA, for example, like with Formula One. So there's a lot of differences there, and that's part is interesting to me. It's like how the operations can be different, even though to most people racing is racing. They don't even think about there being a difference between oval and road racing. So seeing all the nuances makes it interesting and cool.
Yeah, that's always great that we got, different series, different categories, which we enjoy. I would love to go to United States one day and visit NASCAR, because I'm just in love with ovals after I jump into our racing. And, if you're jumping into our racing, you got all this like 4 licenses. It's a bit more right now. And you just want to get out of rookies in every category, and you're trying to do this, and you're like, wow, I like ovals, and maybe I would like to drive them from time to time, and get into the street stocks, then start to drive ovals, and we get into eNASCAR and broadcasting their races also together with them, and it's really fun. I just get into the championship, and I know all drivers, and you like I know, getting nervous because they're fighting on the track. It's really cool. I would love to try ovals one day. But if you enjoy the other category, I think it's really cool that you got the opportunity to watch like IMSA and other series as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that America is becoming more accessible for all of it, which is really cool. I would say not so much with Formula One. Formula One gets more expensive every year, but technically so does IMSA. But IMSA is probably, if you really like road racing, IMSA is the way to start out, where you can be up close and personal with the car. You can see the drivers running around. You can say hi to them, and it's not like, there's not like 50 million people all around them. But I haven't been to a NASCAR race yet, actually. I've been to Daytona just for the Rolex 24, but I cannot imagine Daytona full of people for the Daytona 500, which is always sold out. So it must be amazing.
I think Daytona 500 alongside with Le Mans 24, that's an event which you have to visit, and Daytona 24 as well. It's a great event, which what you got in the United States. Would you like to transfer your sim racing experience ever in real life racing? So do you see that you got opportunity maybe in the future to jump into some races in real life?
For me personally, well, if I'm looking at my own future right now, I don't think that's something that's going to happen. Never say never, but it's not something I'm actively pursuing at the moment. Mostly because I still feel like I have so much I can learn from sim racing, and with the way my work is right now and all the different things I'm doing, it's so nice to be able to literally, I could shut my laptop right now, go upstairs, get on my rig, and be driving in 2 minutes. Versus, I would have to, again, drive an hour and a half to the nearest track to me, get the car there, do all this stuff. I know a lot of stunt guys that I used to work with and still work with now, actually, they do a lot of drifting. And there's a drift track right across the street from Road Atlanta. Those guys have to drive an hour to 2 hours to get to that track, unload their car, get it all ready to go. Then you got to replace the tires after so many laps and stuff like that. And it's very time consuming. Like it's so rewarding. Like driving around a 911 on a track was amazing, and I absolutely loved it. But at the same time, for me, with what my career is looking like and all the different things I'm pursuing, trying to be better in sim racing is the goal right now. I would never say no to driving a real race car, but my goal here is just to be the best sim racer I can be, not necessarily getting into like a real life series. Though I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's not my goal.
All right. Yeah, sounds good. Because many people also ask me, so I stopped the racing career because of the financial questions, of course. So my team just completely shut down the program, which we've been running for 2 years. And unfortunately, we lost all budget and everything. And then during COVID, I started to stream. I started to get into some racing and racing specifically. And I realized that I really like, so I at the same side with you in this, really like streaming. I really like to make the content and actually get more people into sim racing, inspire them with my own journey, and that's my goal. So right now, so just be focused on the content creation, be focused on sim racing as well, because I would like to encourage people to jump into sim racing to improve their skills, to just have fun right here and find maybe friends and community and find a good team where they can do endurance races, for example. So yeah, I kind of agree with you. So that you not really want to jump right now because you just got different goals, and it's okay, I think, from my side. Because for now I also got different goals, but yeah, in the future, if someone going to tell me like, would you like to drive, I don't know, 911 Cup on the road Atlanta, I would say yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Right now, I'd be questioning if someone asked me that question. I'd be like, "Are you really sure you want me in that car?"
Yeah.
But hopefully, in a little while, it won't be that way. And it is cool. Like when you, like we were talking about, you have triples. Still have a single monitor. There's so many things that when you're in a real car, like just, I don't use VR. VR makes me a little sick. I've tried it before. But being in a real 911, being able to actually turn my head and look at the apex of the corner was, this is really cool. And then during the race, like what I love about Assetto Corsa and ACC is that you have like the built-in kind of radar to see where cars are, versus iRacing, you literally just have to either listen to your crew chief or you have to just know where cars are. And so I kind of like right now I drive iRacing with no like third-party overlays or anything. I have them downloaded, but I just can't for the life of me remember to put them on. And for me, that's actually been a good challenge because I really have to be aware of what's going on, because that's always my goal is like, okay, even if I'm last, doing a multi-class race, last place, I still want to be able to clock where other cars are, get out of the way for blue flags, like whatever. And I think having that mentality in each race and taking it as like a learning experience has helped me now, so that when I'm actually fast enough to race with other people, I have kind of the built-in racecraft from, being passed so much, like overtaken. But at the same time, there is a downside to that in the sense that I've been told by several of my teammates and league mates that I'm too nice when cars are coming up to me. Because, I mean, you know this too, when you're driving, it's all like a game of chess, essentially. You have to anticipate the person in front of you, anticipate the people behind you. Are they going to try to overtake you? What line are they going to take? How can you kind of stop them from doing it? It's like I say chess, but to me, it's kind of like a very complicated game of Connect Four. Like they're trying to get 4 in a row, and you have to, stop them while also trying to get your win of 4 in a row. So that's a very kind of crazy analogy for that. But at the same time, but when I'm driving that way, I've been known to be a little too nice because cars are coming up that are so much faster than me that I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to let them pass because they're 3 seconds faster than me in a lap. Whereas one of the guys who is in our league, I was shocked. We were doing a reverse grid race, and he was like consistently one of the slower guys, but he held the entire field back because he just defended really well. And after a couple races like that, I was like, man, I should just be more aggressive with my defense, because I really yes, I'm going to make them upset by holding them all up, but I'm in the lead of the race. That's the point. That's what I'm supposed to do. So there's a lot you can learn. And I just love that mental aspect. And there's also the emotional aspect. If you've got a really aggressive driver who is going to go nuts if you block them and take themselves out, then you already won, that kind of thing.
Well, I really dislike people who just holding the whole field because you got like top 5 and someone holding on P6 the rest of the field, and we just got the big gap then to the leaders, and that you got better gap, better pace than this guy, and you just can't overtake him because he's defending crazy like a lion. And
Mm-hmm.
I really dislike that, because you can let go of me and, other people behind me, and we're going to catch the train and we're going to fight for the top 3 instead of fighting for the like P6, P7 or like P10. So I don't know. I'm kind of, trying to balance with so if I can fight with person, I see that our pace are equal. So then I'm going to fight and going to defend position. But if I see that someone faster than I by like 4 3/10, I'm going to let go of this person and just going to race with him. And probably we're going to catch next people, and we got the opportunity to overtake them. So this is what I'm doing usually. And I think this racing is about balancing, especially in a race, because sometimes you got people who hurry so bad, then you let go them, they crashing somewhere with someone and getting to positions. So
Yep. Yeah, like right now, my two most popular videos on my TikTok are my first two rookie races in the MX5. I just did like a commentary overview of those races. Like I shortened them down to like a minute. And that was basically what it was. I let everyone else, first of all, I didn't even set a qualifying time because I wanted to start in last place to avoid the carnage of turn one. And then both races I ended up on podium because all these cars were just rushing to get ahead and they were crashing into each other. They don't have racecraft, but they think they do, so they take each other out. And it's just funny because doing my commentary, like I was just like kind of joking around. I was like, yeah, then this guy passed me, but he got karma later because he hit someone else. And all these people in the comments were like, what do you mean he got karma? He overtook you clean. And I was like, yeah, I know, that's the joke. If you overtake me, it's bad always. So it's just funny to see like, the community kind of doing stuff like that. But I mean, that's what rookie races are all about. I think they're really entertaining. I say that as someone who hasn't been kind of crashed into yet, but I'm actually going to do some D-license races tonight in the GR86, so we'll see how those go. But
yeah, that's all the time happening with me that with community, I'm streaming and I'm like, okay guys, let go this guy ahead of us, and then he just creating the huge crash ahead of me. So I'm getting like
yeah,
3-4 positions. That's a great moment, and everybody laughing because when you cold-blooded, when you calm down, you just doing your pace, doing your laps. I think this is the best what you can do because you actually have to race your own race. So if someone want to go ahead, like, okay, they can go ahead and that's it. So maybe something bad going to happen. Maybe this person going to catch other people and help me also. So yeah, I think you have to balance here with this. And of course, we all get nervous before races and during races and some really exciting moments. But I think you should calm down and be cold-blooded in racing. This is the best what you can do for your results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always tell people like whenever I join a race and I see people that are way faster than me, I kind of give myself a little pep talk because a lot of people are really fast in hot lapping, qualifying and stuff, and then their racecraft and their race pace just isn't very good. And one thing that, when you're in last place and you're fighting for last place, you learn to be really consistent because if you spin out and you're in last place, now you're in last place by like 2 minutes or 3 laps, then like, 10 seconds. So it was always, I find myself being a really consistent driver, which is frustrating when I'm trying to set qualifying times because I don't really have the ability yet to really put in a blazing fast qualifying lap. But my qualifying lap is usually my race pace or pretty close to it, which has been way more helpful, honestly, because I'll get into a race and maybe I qualified 5th or 6th, but my pace is well enough that I don't spin out, I don't go off track, and I'm able to pick up the places because of that.
Yeah, that's cool. So as we girls in sim racing, and from my side, I can tell that sim racing for me more friendly place for me as a female racing driver than in real life races, which I did. What do you think can be done to encourage more girls to jump into sim racing and to racing as well in the future?
I think definitely having visibility for women in sim racing is important because I remember part of the reason I started doing my content was because when I looked for creators who were female who were doing sim racing, there was 1 or 2 girls that no longer made content. I don't even remember who they are. And I was like, okay. And then also when I clicked on their content, they were way faster than I was. And I was like, well, can I watch any videos of people who aren't just like world record fast? And so I was like, well, I guess I can be that person. You guys can watch me take last. And I was kind of shocked because I really made my videos just more for myself as a kind of a journal of like how I'm improving. But a lot of people were like, thank you. Like, I love watching your journey. Like, I also just started. Like, I didn't know that everyone's going through this. So I think just having visibility on the struggles of sim racing, not necessarily just like the top accolades, which I think are important. And I hope that more women are able to take those, big time accolades. And I hope to be one of them. but it's something about visibility, but also I think like you said, the communities of sim racing was way more normal and accepting than other games. Like I used to play Call of Duty a lot, and I was like a top 10,000 player in hardcore domination Call of Duty, and I had my team and we were like very in sync with each other. But everyone else, when I played, it was like just constant abuse or whatever, and I've never had anything like that in sim racing. No one has ever. I've gotten, what I do get is people just assuming I don't know anything because I'm a woman, which happens in real life too about cars, but that's really it. I've never had anyone claim that I was, not a good driver or something because I'm a woman, which surprised me because I kind of thought that people would just love to, kind of come after women. But I think that's why when you're starting out in sim racing, it'd be really nice to have kind of a blueprint from other experienced sim racers of like, hey, don't, if you're doing iRacing and you just jump into iRacing with your voice chat on and your chat on all this stuff, and people are just like yelling at you and telling you don't know how to overtake, like you're not going to like sim racing. You're going to hate it because you're like, what the heck? I don't know what I'm doing. So, and it's so difficult because sim racing really is like real driving. People, like in America at least, we're always driving our cars. You think you can drive a car around track. It's absolutely not the same. And then there's no one saying like, hey, this is race etiquette. You either have to watch racing or just like kind of know it intuitively from doing it yourself or something like that. So I think it's really hard for new people. It's not like Call of Duty where you can just jump into a game, have fun, you know what you're supposed to do. Sim racing has a lot more nuance to that. So I think education is really important as well, and introducing new sim racers in general, but also women in a way that's productive and showing them what sim racing really involves and how, it is a community effort, but also just making sure that people are in leagues that are fun and inclusive and stuff. Like my league, I got really lucky. It was the second league that I joined, and they're super organized, super on top of it. Everyone's super nice. And that changed my whole sim racing trajectory, because if I would have joined a league that was, abusive or didn't treat me as an equal or something, that could have totally changed my mindset on it. And I kind of go into things with I wouldn't say cocky because I don't consider myself someone who's cocky, but in my head, I'm like really trying to like be like, I could be the best though. I could be the best. So like I have that mentality going into it, and it just kind of it's helpful to get humbled, honestly. So my league, I'm taking last. These guys are kicking my butt every single week. But at the end of it, it's like, okay, we watch our race review after every single race. We go back through the race, we watch incidents, we talk about it, who was at fault, stuff like that. And all of that is learning that comes in such a unique way that other kind of esports don't really have, which is good and bad for new racers. So I think I've long since lost the plot on this question, but that would be my thought, is like we just need ways for people to engage in sim racing that's actually going to be productive. Like people don't even know that you can get coached in sim racing. A lot of people are like, what, you have a coach for that? And I'm like, yeah. And I would be way worse of a sim driver if I didn't have my coach. Thank you. But people, it's like any esports in general is still a pretty new thing, and people don't understand how big it is. Like it's going to be in the Olympics. That's how big it is. And people are still kind of thinking it's just video games running around. But so changing the mindset overall, which I think is already changing, but there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, it's changing already. I can see more girls in iRacing as well, and I see that more girls streaming also, because when I started in 2020, I saw like 2 girls with me streaming iRacing. Now we can see more, and it's really cool. I kind of agree with you that sim racing is complicated. Yeah, so you just can't jump like in Call of Duty and just play and have fun. So at least you have to get like a controller maybe to try it, or the wheel and pedals, and
right.
Probably then start to learn the base and how to build your line on track and all the stuff. So it can be complicated for someone. But I think if you're passionate about cars, about racing, I think you got good opportunities to like sim racing, and then just improve in it, and also grow up as a person. I think it's a good sport. It's a good hobby to have, and I just hope that with Init Sports also we will get more girls into this wonderful sport, and going to see more content creators as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, I'm super thankful to have found this community just because, you know, I like to have something to work toward when I'm driving, whether it's an official race or usually it's just been my league races every week. But having like the Holiday Invitational, for example, that was involved a ton of practice on my part, and it was good to be able to have the chance to, you know, really, okay, this is a race that's going to be streamed. Like, there's going to be people, I got to prove myself. And then, you know, I shot myself in the foot for that race, but at the same time, I still worked really hard, and it was still really good improvement because we actually raced Okayama in the GR86 in the Fall Cup. And my time, even though, you know, obviously weather's different, iRacing, stuff like that, my best time from the Fall Cup to the Invitational, which was like 6 weeks apart or maybe 8 weeks apart, I had dropped almost a second in lap time. And my personal best lap was 0.6 better in the Holiday Invitational, which, yeah, you can attribute that to weather, but I'm telling you right now, I could definitely not have gotten that time for the Fall Cup race. So, yeah, it's great to see improvement. And I think that's what, you know, league racing can also help you do is you're racing against the same people. You're always trying to improve. And when you're a beginner, your improvements are seconds at a time. Whereas when you're a really advanced sim racer, your improvements are tenths or hundredths. So when you're making that, you're catching up. I remember the first time one of the guys in my league was like, yeah, you're like solidly in the mid pack now. And I was like, yes, I got it. I'm in the mid pack. I'm fighting for 10th. Like, this is what it's all about. Like, you know, and then you really realize that, like, you know, Formula One, it's kind of like, oh yeah, so-and-so got points, big deal. But when you're the person who's been fighting from P20 to get to that P10, it's like respect. Like, now you understand what it's like. So yeah, it's a really cool thing to be part of, and just, you know, seeing more women getting involved. Like, I was just in it. Esports actually had me go out to Vegas a couple weeks ago, and I got to work with Blake Upton, who is an F3 driver, and now works with Formula One and stuff. But we got to just me being there as a female representative for sim racing. So many women, old women, little kids came up to me and were like, it's so great to see you doing this. Like, I didn't even think, I was too afraid to get in a simulator, but then I saw you were doing it and I could go do it. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we need, is we need people to see that this is something that, you know, women can do too. As equestrian sports and motorsports are the two things they say that are like truly equal, which there's obviously little nuances there, but pretty much true.
Yeah, I think that sim racing is once again, I'm going to tell this, it's more open, and here is no difference in the physical aspect as well. So I think that, you know, more girls not going to be afraid to jump into sim racing, because real life racing can be really exhausting, and it's so hard for body. Some races are so long, and yeah, probably physically we can do some races in real life, but you can have fun in sim racing at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you tell me what's your goals in the future for sim racing and for your professional career as well?
Yeah, this year I'm really focusing on iRacing. It's my first time really doing iRacing at all. Like, I got an iRacing account like in May or something, but never drove because it was really intimidating to me. But now I'm really trying to get into iRacing, getting really focused on doing more actual events. Even though I'm still trying to figure out kind of where my pace stacks up. I think now I'm no longer fighting for last. So, and just having that confidence has helped me to be able to think about pursuing these things, doing things like the Ferrari Esports Series. Porsche doesn't have it anymore, but they used to have like an esports challenge. Maybe it'll come back, I don't know. Doing stuff like that, and then just doing iRacing official races. 2025. Unfortunately, TikTok might be getting, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, TikTok might be kind of getting pushed to the wayside in the US. So there goes my whole 2 years of work. So I'm trying to focus more on like the content creation side of either utilizing Instagram or Twitch, even though I'm not much of a live I don't really like doing things live when it comes to racing, just because for me, so much of it is still so mentally involved in learning that balancing a chat plus racing plus learning is difficult. But honestly, it's where everyone's going. So that might be in the future for me. And really, my all-inclusive goal would be for the Olympic team for the US. I want to be a sim driver on that team. I don't really want to just be like the girl sim driver that has to be there. I want to be the best one on that team. And we got plenty of time to get there and a lot of work to be done to get there, but I'm hoping that I can do it. So.
Great plans you got for 2025, definitely, for Olympics. So I wish you good luck for this one. And speaking about racing, I think you just, with some time going to learn tracks, and step by step, you will get faster and faster. And also, if you use the coach, this process of how the practice working, and how to be faster, how to improve your lap times. And I think that's great. And what can you tell to new sim racers who's starting, should they get the coach? Maybe they can find some guides on YouTube or something like this. So what will be your advice for them?
So my advice would be to start small. So like kind of what we talked about earlier, getting the Logitech G29, starting out, really simple. See if you actually like it at first. I see so many people on Reddit who spend like $4,000 on a rig and then they're like, yeah, I don't really use it anymore. So make sure you like it first, but also be ready to be frustrated. And that's what's so difficult for me a lot of times. Is I'm like, why am I not faster? What am I doing wrong that I'm not faster? And a lot of times there's just so many things going on in your brain that you don't realize. Like if we go back to the language analogy, if you're trying to be fluent in a language, like as a native English speaker, I can usually tell when someone's not a native English speaker because there's little things that you do differently with your words. You say something slightly off. Whereas an English speaker, I 100% know what you're talking about, but it's still not 100% perfect. It's kind of like racing. It's like you can have 90% of a trail break correct, but that 10% is going to put the difference between you being in third and being in first. Not only do you have to do it one time correct, you have to do it every single time. So don't be afraid to take last for a long time. Like I'm telling you, I was in last place for 2 years probably. And I never even cared because my community was awesome and I could see my own personal improvements. So being frustrated is okay. You're really gonna feel, if you've never done racing before, which I had no racing experience going in, my brain hurt after driving for like 30 minutes. Like I was like, this is like taking a test. Like, I don't know how I can do this. But eventually that goes away. We had the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. So instead of 24 hours, since we all have jobs and stuff, we did like the 2 hours and 4 minutes or whatever. And I never ever thought I could sit in a sim rig for 2 hours at that time. And then, by an hour 30, I'm like, oh, this isn't too bad. And you gradually start getting there, but it is a process. It's like, if you think about it like a language, that's the best way to kind of think about it, your improvement, what it's going to look like. You can start stringing a sentence together pretty quickly, but you're not going to be fluent for years. And it's the same with racing. You're not going to be, top tier until you have years and years of experience. And which I heard that and I was like, yeah, but I could be better. I could do it better, faster. And it's like, sorry, here we are, but it's good to have confidence and stuff. But at the same time, just acknowledge the process and know how long it's going to actually take for you to be good. And you also have to focus on being better. A lot of people just get in their rig, do a couple official races on iRacing with no practice. Like maybe they practiced the track a year ago and they're just going back. Like you have to consciously make an effort to learn and be better if you actually want to learn and be better. Some people don't want it. They don't care. They're just there to race, which is totally fine. You could do that. But if you really want to be the top, you have to treat it, like any other sport. You got to do your practice. You got to do your theory. You got to learn from the best and go about it that way.
That's true. So you just have to trust the process and go ahead. And also, through frustration, we're learning really good most of the time. And I think from my side that I just saying everybody try to finish every race. Like even you got some damage, but if you
Yes.
can keep the car on track, it's really important to finish the race because you just registered to this race to finish it, and you have to go. Doesn't matter what position you got in the end, you just have to see this checker
Yeah,
flag.
I mean, I'm definitely improved with that. My team never came in last for any series that I did when I was taking last because I showed up to every race and I completed every single race. Just showing up and doing it and completing your 20 laps will put you ahead of a lot of people who think that they're getting better at sim racing, but then don't show up or don't finish the race. So I would definitely agree.
Yeah, that's true. So thank you so much for your time. That was nice to talk with you. And I
Yeah.
wish happy holidays to everybody. And we're going to see you in 2025. Thank you so much for being with us in 2024. That was a great time. We'll see you. Thank you so much, Emma.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time and I'm looking forward to next year. Happy holidays to you guys as well.
See you.
Init Esports focuses on sim racing events and digital tournaments. They bring esports content to fans and sponsorship opportunities to brands while maximizing audience reach across multiple sports, industries, and platforms. Init Esports is a woman led company where diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility is in their DNA. And their platform aims to combat bullying and cheating to help make the esports world as safe and fair as possible. To learn more, be sure to log on to www.initesports.gg or follow them on social media at Init Esports. Join their Discord, check out their YouTube channel, or follow their live content via Twitch.
This episode has been brought to you by Gran Touring Motorsports as part of our Motoring Podcast Network. For more episodes like this, tune in each week for more exciting and educational content from organizations like the Exotic Car Marketplace, the Motoring Historian, Break Fix, and many others. If you'd like to support Gran Touring Motorsports and the Motoring Podcast Network, sign up for one of our many sponsorship tiers at www.patreon.com/GT Motorsports. Please note that the content, opinions, and materials presented and expressed in this episode are those of its creator, and this episode has been published with their consent. If you have any inquiries about this program, please contact the creators of this episode via email or social media as mentioned in the episode.